The night was cold, and the wind carried a strange silence through the narrow streets of the old city. Street lights flickered like tired candles. It was the kind of night where people avoided walking alone. But Isla had no choice. She walked slowly along the empty road, hugging her thin shawl close to her body. Isla was a poor girl, but she had a heart so soft that even the wind seemed gentle around her. She worked all day cleaning small shops, yet she still struggled to buy food. Tonight, she had eaten nothing. Her stomach whispered for help, but her pockets held only a few old coins. Still, she smiled at every stray dog, at every lonely flower growing through broken cement, at every old man sitting in the cold. But tonight even Isla's smile looked tired. She stopped in front of a closed bakery. Her eyes stayed on the bread behind the glass. Bread that once cost her dreams. Bread she could smell but never buy. She whispered quietly to herself, "Tomorrow, maybe tomorrow." Just when she turned to leave, she heard something unusual. A soft sound. A heavy breath. A quiet groan, coming from across the street. Isla froze. She looked toward the dark alley. At first, she thought it was garbage or maybe a drunk man. But then the shape moved. And then he collapsed. A man. Tall. Well-dressed. But broken like a fallen tree. Isla felt her heart jump. She looked left, then right. Cars passed, but no one stopped. People walked fast with their heads down, pretending not to see. It was almost like everyone was trained to ignore suffering. But Isla couldn't ignore it. Even when she was starving, she always believed no one should be alone in pain. She took a deep breath and stepped toward the stranger. When she reached him, she saw his face. He was pale, breathing hard. His expensive shirt was torn, like he had been running. His hands were shaking. And his eyes were full of fear, not ordinary fear but the kind that comes when someone is escaping danger. Isla knelt beside him. "Sir, can you hear me?" The man opened his eyes for a second, just enough to see her face. Isla saw something in his expression: relief. Like he had finally found someone who would not hurt him. He whispered something, but his voice was too weak. Isla looked around. Still no one stopped. The street light above them flickered again, making the moment feel even more unreal. She touched his forehead. It was burning. He needed water. She checked her pockets: only 3 coins. The exact amount needed for 1 bottle of water from the small shop near the corner. It was all she had for the night. Her dinner. Her survival. But Isla didn't think twice. She ran to the shop, bought the water, and returned to the stranger. She held the bottle to his lips. He drank slowly. Very slowly. Then something strange happened. Before he could speak, before she could ask anything, a black car rolled silently toward them. It stopped only a few feet away. 2 men stepped out. Tall. Strong. Wearing dark clothes. Their eyes were sharp, scanning everything. Isla felt her breath break. Something was wrong. Very wrong. One of the men pointed at the stranger. "There he is." Isla's heart dropped. Who were these men? Why did they know him? Why did they sound like hunters who just found their prey? The stranger tried to sit up, but pain pulled him back. Still, he looked at Isla with fear and sadness mixed together. He wanted to say something, she could see it in his eyes, but his voice failed him. The 2 men came closer. "Get him," one said. Isla stood up quickly. "Wait. He needs help." But they ignored her like she was air. They lifted the man, almost like he weighed nothing. The stranger did not fight. Maybe he was too weak, or maybe he knew fighting was useless. As they dragged him toward the car, Isla noticed something. The stranger's hand slipped from one of the men's arms for a moment. She saw a gold ring on his finger. A ring with a strange pattern, like a symbol of power or a secret group. Just before they pushed him inside, the stranger looked at Isla again. His eyes said everything he could not. I'm in danger. Thank you. Remember me. And then the car door slammed shut. The engine roared. The car disappeared into the night. Isla stood frozen, her hands shaking. The empty bottle lay on the ground beside her, shining under the streetlight. She whispered to herself. What just happened? Her heart beat fast. Her mind spun in circles. Who was that man? Why was he being chased? Why did he look at her like she was important? And the biggest question. Was she safe now? Because something told her. This was not the end. This was only the beginning of a war she never asked for. The sun rose slowly over the old city, painting the sky orange, but Isla felt no warmth. Last night kept replaying in her mind like a scene trapped inside a broken film. She barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the stranger's frightened face, the black car, the men in dark clothes, the mysterious gold ring. She sat up on her old mattress, breathing deeply. Her tiny room felt even smaller this morning. The cracked walls, the broken window, the dusty floor, everything reminded her of how trapped she was. But something else troubled her more. What if those men come here? What if helping the stranger brings danger to her door? She tried to shake the thought away. No. I did nothing wrong, she whispered to herself. I just helped a human being. But her voice still trembled. A sharp knock at her door made her jump. Her heart raced. Was it the men from last night? She walked slowly to the door, her feet cold against the floor. When she opened it, relief washed over her. It was Mrs. Dahlia, her old neighbor. A kind woman with soft eyes and a tired smile. Isla, dear, are you okay? You look pale, Mrs. Dahlia asked. Isla forced a smile. I'm fine. Just tired. But the old woman saw the fear behind her smile. She placed a warm hand on Isla's shoulder. Come to my house later. I made tea. Isla nodded, grateful. Mrs. Dahlia left, and the door clicked shut. For a moment, Isla leaned against the door and closed her eyes. Every sound outside, every footstep, every distant car made her nervous. She needed to distract herself. Her daily struggle. Isla walked through the crowded market, carrying a small broom and dustpan. This was her everyday reality, cleaning shop entrances, sweeping pavements, collecting a few coins. Children ran around her, laughing. Vendors shouted about fresh vegetables and cheap clothes. Life moved normally for everyone, except her. Her landlord appeared suddenly, blocking her path. Mr. Karim was a big man with a heavier temper. Isla, he said in a cold voice, today is the last day. Rent. Isla's stomach tightened. I don't have it yet. I will try. Try. His voice grew louder. I'm tired of your trying. Pay by tonight or leave the room. People around them turned to look. Isla felt small, embarrassed. She held her broom tighter and nodded silently. Mr. Karim walked away, grumbling under his breath. Isla let out a long breath. She was already struggling to survive, and now this. But even then, what hurt her most was not her poverty. It was the memory of the stranger's helpless eyes. The mystery grows. As Isla swept in front of a bookshop, two men walked past her. Dark clothes. Sharp eyes. Just like the men from last night. Isla's heart froze. She lowered her gaze quickly, pretending to sweep, but her ears listened carefully. Did they find him? One man asked. The other replied, not yet. The boss is furious. How did he escape? Isla's breath caught in her throat. Escape. So the stranger was running from them. And someone helped him, the man added with anger. We'll find out who. Isla felt cold inside. Her fingers went numb around the broom. She kept sweeping, head bowed, praying they wouldn't notice her. After a moment, the men walked away. Isla stood still for a long minute, letting the fear settle again. She couldn't tell anyone. Not even Mrs. Dahlia. If she spoke, she might put others in danger. A memory that refused to fade. She sat on a quiet bench near the old fountain. The water looked calm, unlike her heart. She remembered how the stranger drank water from her hands. How he tried to speak. How his eyes silently begged her to understand. And that gold ring. It wasn't just ordinary. It looked like it belonged to someone important. Someone powerful. But if he was powerful, why was he running? Why did he look so broken, so afraid? Isla whispered to herself. Who are you? Her question floated in the air with no answer. A new fear. When Isla returned home in the evening, the hallway was quiet. Too quiet. The air felt heavy. As she reached her door, she noticed something. A small paper. Folded. Placed under her door. Her heart beat trembling notes. She picked it up with shaking fingers. Inside was a single line, written in hurried handwriting. They are looking for you. Isla felt her knees weaken. The paper slipped from her hand and fell to the floor. Her breathing grew fast. Her chest tightened. This was no longer about a stranger. No longer about kindness. Her world was now caught between danger and truth. Someone knew she had helped him. Someone was watching her. She looked at the dark hallway, her hands trembling. For the first time in her life, Isla felt completely unsafe. And she realized. Her silent battles were only the beginning of a storm she never asked to enter. The next morning, Isla woke with a heavy heart. Last night's paper warning still burned in her memory, they are looking for you. She felt a mixture of fear and confusion. Who were they? And why were they after her? Her tiny room felt smaller than ever. She tried to distract herself with chores, sweeping, washing the floor, cleaning the old window, but her mind kept drifting to the stranger. The man she had helped, the man with frightened eyes and a gold ring, was still unknown. Who was he? Why was he so important? Suddenly, there was a loud knock on her door. Her heart leapt into her throat. She froze. Could it be them? She slowly walked to the door, careful not to make a sound. She peeked through the small crack and saw him. The stranger. But he looked different. Gone were the torn clothes and dusty shoes. He was now in a crisp white shirt, polished shoes, and his hair neatly combed. It was the same man, but somehow stronger, calmer. He held a small envelope in his hand and nodded at her. Isla, he said softly, we meet again. Isla felt her legs weaken. You're alive, she whispered, more to herself than to him. Yes, he replied. His voice was calm but carried a weight she couldn't understand. Thanks to you. He paused, scanning the street. I need to leave soon. They will be back. Isla's stomach tightened. Who are they? Who are you? The stranger looked at her, his eyes full of something she couldn't name: pain, regret, gratitude. I can't tell you everything, not yet. It's too dangerous. But know this, your kindness saved me. Isla stared at him, unsure what to say. Her mind raced with questions. Why me? Why did you need me? He smiled faintly. Because you were the only one who helped. Everyone else ignored me. Everyone. Except you. He stepped closer and placed the envelope gently on her table. Open this. It will help you survive. And pay attention, Isla, never tell anyone you helped me. Not now, not ever. Isla's hands trembled as she picked up the envelope. She slowly opened it. Inside were enough coins and notes to cover her rent for months, food for days, and even some small savings she had never dreamed of having. Her eyes widened. She couldn't speak. Why, she finally whispered. The stranger's eyes softened. Because one small act of kindness can change everything. Even in a dark world, even when it seems impossible. He looked down at her again, then suddenly stiffened. His eyes darted toward the street. "They're here," he said quietly, almost to himself. Before Isla could ask, he turned and walked briskly toward the narrow alley. Her heart pounded in her chest. She wanted to follow, but something inside her told her not to. Then she saw them, two men in dark clothes, moving quickly along the street, scanning for something or someone. Isla pressed herself against the wall, hiding behind the old crate outside her door. Her breath came in shallow bursts. The men passed, not noticing her. They were searching, hunting, but she didn't know for what, or for whom. When the danger finally passed, Isla exhaled slowly, clutching the envelope. Her hands were shaking. Her mind raced. Who was he really? Why were they after him? And why did he trust me with something so dangerous? She opened the envelope again and found something else inside, a small card. On it, in neat handwriting, were 4 words. "If anyone asks, forget me." Isla swallowed hard. She nodded to herself. She understood. She couldn't tell anyone. She had to keep his secret, no matter what. For the rest of the day, Isla moved through the market like a shadow. She collected coins, swept streets, and did small jobs, but her mind was with him. She remembered how weak he had been last night. She remembered the fear in his eyes. She remembered the ring on his finger. That ring kept her thinking. What did it mean? Why did it seem so important? Why did it shine like gold even in the dark? As she returned home that evening, she noticed a small commotion near the fountain. People were whispering about a man who had exposed a powerful organization and disappeared. Some said he was a hero, others called him a criminal. Isla froze. Her heart skipped a beat. Could it be him? Her mind raced back to the stranger, to the envelope, to the card that told her to forget him. And suddenly, everything clicked together. He wasn't just anyone. He was someone important. Someone brave. Someone hunted. And somehow, he had trusted her. Isla sat down on the steps outside her tiny room. The envelope rested on her lap. The card burned in her hand. She realized one truth she had never fully understood before. Kindness can be dangerous. But it can also be powerful. She looked at the empty street, hoping for a glimpse of him again. But the black shadows of the night had swallowed him completely. And in that silence, Isla made a promise to herself and to him that she would never forget. No matter the danger. No matter the fear. She would protect the secret of the stranger who had returned her faith in humanity. And she knew this was only the beginning. Because the war he was running from was far from over. And somehow, without knowing it yet, Isla was already part of it. Days passed, but Isla could not stop thinking about the stranger. She went about her life sweeping streets, cleaning shops, earning small coins, but every sound, every shadow, reminded her of him. The city felt different now, like a place where danger was always near. She had kept the envelope hidden under her mattress. The money had allowed her to pay the rent and buy food for the first time in weeks. And yet, the small card still burned in her mind. If anyone asks, forget me. She had obeyed. She told no one. Not even Mrs. Dahlia. But the city had its whispers. People in the market spoke of a man who had vanished suddenly. A man who had exposed powerful corruption inside one of the biggest companies in the country. They called him a hero or a criminal, depending on who you asked. Isla felt her heart skip. The description matched the stranger exactly. The torn shirt, the fear, the gold ring, everything. Could it be him? A hidden connection. Isla decided to visit the small library near the market. She wanted to know the truth. She flipped through newspapers, reading articles about the mysterious disappearance of Adrian Hale, a young businessman who had revealed corruption in a powerful organization. The article said Adrian had risked his life to reveal evidence that could ruin people in power. But after that, he vanished. No one knew where he was. Some said he was in hiding. Others believed he had been kidnapped. Isla's hands trembled. Adrian Hale, the stranger was Adrian Hale. Her mind raced back to last night, the gold ring, the frightened eyes, the black car. Everything made sense now. He had not been an ordinary man in trouble. He had been a brave man hunted by people who wanted to silence him. And she had helped him. Her chest tightened. She realized the weight of what she had done. By helping him, she had become part of something much bigger than herself. Danger closes in. That evening, as Isla walked home, she felt someone following her. She turned her head but saw only shadows. Her heart pounded. When she reached her room, she saw a folded paper slipped under her door again. Her hands shook as she picked it up. It read, "We know who helped him. Be careful. Trust no one." Fear shot through her. She realized now that the danger was real. It wasn't just about kindness or money, it was about life and death. Isla sat on her bed, hugging her knees. She thought of Adrian Hale. Brave. Alone. Fighting a dangerous war she could barely understand. And then she understood the truth. Her small act of kindness had saved a life. And it had put her in the path of danger too. A secret visit. The next morning, there was a knock on Isla's door. Her heart raced. She peeked through the crack. It wasn't men in dark clothes. It was him, Adrian Hale. His eyes were tired but relieved. "Isla," he said softly. "I had to make sure you are safe." Isla stepped back, surprised. Why come here? It's dangerous for you." Adrian shook his head. "I can't leave things incomplete. You saved me. I owe you the truth." He stepped inside and carefully closed the door. "The men you saw, they work for people who wanted to hide the truth. I found evidence of corruption that could destroy them. But after exposing it, they tried to silence me. That night, when you helped me, I was escaping them." Isla listened, wide-eyed. "You were the only one who didn't turn away. Everyone else ignored me, but you," he paused, looking at her with deep gratitude. "You are brave, Isla. You showed courage without even realizing it." Isla felt warmth in her chest. She had helped him without expecting anything. And now, she realized, courage wasn't just about strength, it was about heart. The power of kindness. Adrian looked at her ring, the one on his finger, the gold symbol of his family's legacy. "This ring, it represents responsibility, power, and danger. But your kindness proved more powerful than any symbol. It reminded me why I fight, why I survive." Isla could hardly speak. She had only given him water, money, and a few moments of care. And yet, it had changed everything for him. He placed a small bag on her lap. "This is to help you. For rent, food, for life. You risk so much by helping me, and you deserve to be safe." Isla's eyes filled with tears. She realized something she never knew before. Even the smallest act of kindness can change destinies. Even one helping hand can alter the course of a dangerous war. And as she looked into Adrian Hale's eyes, she knew this was no ordinary man, and this was no ordinary story. The danger was still out there. But the truth had been revealed. And Isla had survived her first real battle in the war that had unexpectedly entered her life. Days passed since Adrian Hale's secret visit, but Isla's life slowly began to change. She kept the envelope and the small bag he had left carefully hidden. It was more than just money, it was proof that one small act of kindness could ripple into something much bigger. Isla continued her routine, sweeping streets, helping neighbors, feeding stray dogs, but now, there was a quiet strength inside her. Every coin she earned, every small task she completed, felt different. It wasn't just survival anymore. It was hope. And then, one morning, a small letter appeared under her door. She picked it up and saw no name, no stamp, just her handwriting printed on the paper as if someone had guessed her thoughts. Your kindness changed my fate. You are part of something bigger. I am safe now. Lives will improve because of your one small act. Isla's hands trembled as she read the letter. Tears filled her eyes. She had never expected anything in return for helping the stranger. And yet, here was a message, quiet but powerful, confirming that her courage had mattered. Inside the letter was something else, a small key. Isla turned it over in her hands, confused and curious. A note accompanied it. Use this key. Follow the address. And remember, kindness always finds a way to return. A journey to hope. Her heart beat fast as she followed the address written on the note. It led her to a quiet street at the edge of the city. A small building stood there, simple but different from all the worn-down shops she had seen before. On the wall, written in gold letters, were words that made her stop in disbelief. Isla's Hope Bakery. She stared at the sign, unable to believe it. Her fingers clutched the key so tightly it almost hurt. She stepped inside. The bakery smelled of fresh bread, sugar, and hope. There were ovens, shelves, and counters all ready to start a new life. Isla's eyes filled with tears as she realized the truth. Adrian Hale had given her the bakery. The bakery she had dreamed about for years but never thought she could own. She looked around, touching the counters, smelling the flour, imagining the bread she would bake. And for the first time in her life, she felt truly free. The power of one act. Isla understood something deep inside her heart. She had been poor. She had been hungry. She had been scared. Yet, one act of kindness, helping a stranger in need, had changed everything. Adrian had trusted her. He had given her safety, hope, and a future. And she had discovered a truth she would never forget. Even the smallest act of kindness can create miracles. Even in the darkest times, hope finds a way. A new beginning. The first morning in her new bakery, Isla woke before sunrise. She opened the doors and looked out at the street. She saw children running, vendors calling out, neighbors smiling. The city still had its struggles, but for Isla, it was a place full of possibilities. She baked her first batch of bread. The smell spread across the quiet streets. People walked in, curious, and soon a small crowd had gathered. Isla served them with a smile, remembering how small gestures could ripple into something beautiful. And in the back of her mind, she still thought of Adrian Hale. She had never seen him again, but she knew he was safe. She knew his life had been changed too because she had cared. Her bakery became more than just a place to sell bread. It became a symbol of hope. A place where people who were hungry, tired, or lost could find something more than food. They could find kindness. The lesson learned. Isla sometimes thought about how fragile life could be. How fear and danger could appear unexpectedly. How helping one stranger could change the course of everything. But she also understood the most important lesson. Courage and kindness are stronger than fear. One small act can change a life. And even the poorest hands can hold the power to create miracles. As she looked around her bakery, watching children smile and neighbors talk, Isla whispered softly to herself. Thank you, for showing me that even small hearts can do big things. And in the quiet of that moment, she felt a deep peace. Because Isla had learned the ultimate truth of life. Kindness is never wasted. It always finds a way back. And for her, the unexpected war, the fear, the danger, the uncertainty was finally over. What remained was hope, courage, and a life changed forever.